Hi, I'm DIYte, and today I'm going to show you a really quick and easy way to clean oil-based, solvent-based paint off your paintbrush. And what's really clever about this technique is you end up throwing away or wasting pretty much no white spirit. So for those of you thinking, hey, didn't you just post a video on this last weekend? I did, but after just posting the video I got a comment, a suggestion from one of my subscribers, Zman, that was really clever, and I thought there's no way I can send that video out without incorporating his suggestion. So if you stay tuned till the end of this video, you'll find out how, according to Zman, you can cleverly recycle almost all the white spirit you've used to clean your paintbrushes. So today's toolkit, we've got the all-important white spirit, we've got a couple of glass jars to clean the paintbrushes in, some toilet paper, and a couple of wire brushes here, just to give you an example of the sort of things you can use should you need to clean any excess paint off the paintbrush. This is just a sort of bog standard one I've found in a local DIY store. It's a little bit more upmarket. It's a wire brush from Purdy. I've also got a metal tin here, it's just because that can be quite useful also to clean the paintbrushes in. Right, just finished painting my windows. Been off for a spot of lunch before doing this video, so I wrapped my paintbrush in some cling film, which is a really good way to keep the paint from drying. If, for example, you're doing a second coat the day after, it means you don't have to keep cleaning your paintbrush in between coats. So I've got my toilet roll, and I've got 3 containers, a large one for the toilet roll to go in, and a couple of containers to clean the paintbrushes in. First job you want to do is try and remove as much paint from the paintbrush as you can. You can see here why this is such a useful process, because you see there's a huge amount of paint in that tissue. That is paint that we would have been wasting white spirit to get rid of. So I'm going to do this a few times. Try and remove as much paint as I can. Still, you see it's still coming out. It's not quite as much now. One last go. Give it really good clean. Okay, that's looking much better. So, the trick to this is to use as little white spirit each time as possible. So I'm going to pour a tiny little splash of white spirit, you see that, in the jar. Just to loosen up the paint on the paintbrush. Now it's back with the tissue again. And now I'm pouring the white spirit that I've just used into a separate container, and that's important, as you'll see at the end. Just going to give the cleaning container a little bit of a wipe, pour a little bit more white spirit into the jar. Again, each time I'm only using tiny amounts of white spirit. Clean the brush again. You can see that's already looking a lot better. Again, I'm pouring the white spirit that we just used into a separate jar. A little bit of clean again. A little bit more white spirit. Tiny amount again. Right, now the paint is becoming a lot thinner in the jar. Off it goes. Just clean out the jar again. A little bit more white spirit. Cleaning it now, just flexing the paintbrush as I go. Try and move as much paint as I can. You know you're getting close because the jar starts to look quite clean when you pour the white spirit out of it. Paint now is really just right up at the stem of the paintbrush, so I'm just giving it a good press to get all the paint out of the bristles. Right, that's looking pretty clean now. Right, if like sometimes happens with me, you leave a paintbrush a few days and you've got some sort of slightly hardened paint on the bristles and you're trying to sort of resurrect it, there's a couple of things you can do. Getting yourself a wire brush like this, which I picked up from a local DIY store, or this one from Purdy, which I think I got from Screwfix. You can put a little bit of white spirit on the paintbrush and just work down the bristles with the wire brush to free the loose paint. Doing the same thing now with the Purdy wire brush. That way you know you've left no paint on the bristles. You've got yourself a beautifully clean paintbrush. I'm going to give my paintbrush one final clean. You see now there's very little paint coming out into the white spirit. And there we go. That paintbrush is all ready for the next use. One final tip, if you've still got the wrapper that the paintbrush came in, put it back in. Always a good idea to keep the old wrapper. This isn't actually the right wrapper for this paintbrush. But what this does is it keeps the bristles in a perfect shape for the next time you use it. If you don't do this, there is a danger that the bristles can fan out as the paintbrush is drying. If you don't have the wrapper, don't worry. What I sometimes do is get a bit of duct tape or insulating tape or even a rubber band. Fold it over like that so that no adhesive is coming into contact with the paintbrush. I tell you, duct tape is something that everyone should have in their toolbox because it's the most useful stuff. It even gets rid of verrucas apparently. And then just wrap the paintbrush in the duct tape, stick it on like that, and again your bristles will be kept in a lovely shape for the next time you need to use the paintbrush. So throughout that whole process, that's all the white spirit we've used up, tiny small amount in the bottom of a jar. But it gets better than that. Thanks to a tip from Zedman, one of my subscribers who's fast becoming my unofficial consultant on this channel, we can recycle a lot of that white spirit. We're going to leave it overnight and I'm going to show you what happens tomorrow. Right, it's actually 5 days since I cleaned that paintbrush, and so the white spirit's been sat in this jar all this time, gradually separating. So let's see how much of this we can salvage for the next paintbrush cleaning job. Just going to very gently pour the white spirit into the jar. Because I've left it so long, I don't even have to really carefully siphon it. I'm literally tipping the entire contents of this jar into the clean jar. So that is absolutely incredible. We've got no wastage at all from that paintbrush cleaning job, apart from the residue of the paint there in the old jar. And I think you'll agree that is looking pretty clear. So I really hope you found today's video useful, and it's massive thanks to Zedman for that tip on recycling almost all the white spirit. As usual, let me know what you think in the comment section below this video, and if you're new to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. You can do that by clicking on the link here.